well, pretty familiar with, who is Gary Tartikoff. He's from, Western Mass here with me.
Hi,
And
Sally.
and Paul Shannon. Hi, Gary. Anyway, there's new faces and we'll get to know each other. So this is my welcome. Peace, justice, freedom, equality. How do people with peace and justice in our hearts, how do we bring peace and justice into the world, into our community, into our personal lives? So all of you have registered and you've come on to this gathering. So we know you hold those kind of beliefs and values inside you. And on the flyer that you all got, it was my phrase saying, it is good to be together in these distressing times. And that's what this afternoon's about, how to be together in these distressing times. There are three beliefs. These are really George's beliefs, and I want to say them. We already know that relationship is crucial to organizing. And we already know that there needs to be a collaborative vision. And I think we hold that already. This is just a reminder. And then the last thing is, we believe, we yearn for a shared power that we build together. And that's what the movement's about. And that's what I'm sure each one of us, even the ones that I haven't met yet, and you haven't met some of us. And we're going to try this new technology, this Jamboard stuff. And I should say where I live in Western Massachusetts and in Northampton. And as I thought about the 9 states that we are having as part of this, I realized that in my life, I have, in one way or another, been in all 9 of those states in serious ways. So
thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks for that great welcome, Sally. So now we're going to hear from the folks who have blessed us with speaking for us today. We're going to hear first from the Western New York Peace Center, from Deirdre and Bill. You each have 8 minutes to speak. When you've spoken for 4, I will say you have 4 minutes left. When you're speaking for 6, I will say you got 2 minutes left. And please, when I give the 1 minute finger, wrap up. All right. So now I will turn it over to Deirdre. And as I mentioned, I'll put your bio in the chat for everyone. It'll take up a bit of room in the chat, folks, but I couldn't think of a more convenient
way. Please. You don't have to do that.
All right, then.
May I ask if you can, if Bill can go first?
Absolutely.
Please.
I'm happy to.
If I can go last, that'd be great.
Oh, you want to go last? So Bill, then Cole, then Deirdre. So you go ahead, Bill.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay. George, did you have that video ready to go?
Yes,
George
sir.
showed me a great video yesterday that we thought we'd start out with.
All right, here. It is fantastic. Well, but this is my opinion, of course. I cannot say for everybody in the world, just me. All right.
I'm with you.
And yesterday, remember, I forgot to share the sound, but today I'm on it. All right.
Fun fact, planet Earth is 4.5 billion years old. Mankind?
I'm stopping this to make sure you can see it. Yes?
George, there's still a big rectangle taking up about a third of the screen at the top.
I have no idea what that is.
It's your board. Take your board off.
You've
Oh,
got
the
a,
board?
you've got a Zoom window over
board for
over
the-
the window with the video in it. You just added another little section. So take those.
No, this
away.
is just the, like the, I don't know, the working stuff. But help
Right.
me out here.
No, you have to remove those because that's what causes that gray rectangle. Put them aside so they don't cover the other part of the screen.
Okay. I've got to make this separate. There you go. And then
You
Maybe
moved
this-
it.
You got a different board.
It's in a different place now. You moved it.
it's in a different place, but it's still in the way.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's more like the right-hand side now.
Well, so you cannot see the video.
We can see
Right.
the left part, but not the right part.
And I don't know what I'm looking at, how it relates to what you might be able to see. But I also know that we will not have the time to work this out. So,
Yeah,
when I
I-
share
I
my
can go, George.
screen, what do you see right now? What are you looking at?
That's perfect.
so-
Well, there's a small gray section at the top, much smaller now, so it's better.
Well, we're
That's
gonna
good.
try to go with it and hope it'll work. All right.
About 140,000 years old. Let me put that in perspective. If you condense the Earth's lifespan into 24 hours, that's one full day, then we have been here on this planet for, drum roll please, 3 seconds. 3 seconds. And look what we've done. We have modestly named ourselves Homo sapiens, meaning wise man. But is man really so wise? Smart, yes, and it's good to be smart, but not too smart for your own good. Yes, we have split the atom. Yes, we build clever machines that navigate the universe in search of new homes, but at the same time, those atoms we split created nuclear warfare. In our quest to explore the galaxy, rejects and neglects the home that we have here now, so no, that cannot be wisdom. Wisdom is different. While intelligence speaks, wisdom listens, and we willingly covered our ears to Mother Nature's screams and closed our eyes to all of her help-wanted signs. Wisdom knows that every action has an equal and opposite reaction, so if we were wise, we would not be shocked when we see storms that are stronger than ever before, or more drought, hurricanes, and wildfire than ever before, because there's more pollution than ever before, more carbon, more trees cut down than ever before. At a record pace, we have increased the extinction of animals by 1,000 times the normal rate. What a feat. In the next 10 to 100 years, every beloved animal character in every children's book is predicted to go extinct. Lions gone, rhinos gone, tiger, gorilla, elephant, polar bear gone. In 3 seconds. Species that have been here longer than us will be gone because of us. In this 3 seconds. In an existence shorter than a Vine video, we turn the circle of life into our own personal conveyor belt. Somebody, anybody help. We were given so much, the only planet in this solar system with life. I mean, we are 1 in a million. No, actually, scientifically, we are 1 in a billion, trillion. That's a 1 followed by 33 zeros. And I don't want to get too spiritual, but how are we not a miracle? We are perfectly positioned to the sun so we don't burn, but not too distant so we don't turn to ice. Goldilocks said it best, we are just right. This paradise where we are given medicine from trees, not coincidentally, but because like the song says, we are family. Literally, everything, every species is connected genetically from the sunflower to the sunfish. And this is what we must recognize before it's too late, because the real crisis is not global warming, environmental destruction, or animal agriculture. It is us. These problems are symptoms of us, byproducts of us. Our inner reflection, loss of connection has created this misdirection. We have forgotten that everything contributes to the perfection of Mother Nature. Corporations keep us unaware and disconnected, but they have underestimated our strength. Contrary to popular belief, millions are waking up out of their sleep, seeing our home being taken right up under our feet. We cannot allow our history to be written by the wicked, greedy, and loony. It is our duty to protect Mother Nature from those who refuse to see her beauty. Call me crazy, but I believe we should have the right to eat food that's safe with ingredients we can pronounce. Drink water that is clean, marvel at trees, breathe air free of toxins. These are natural rights, not things that can be bargained for in Congress. See, they want you to feel powerless, but it has been said that something as small as the flutter of a butterfly's wing can cause a typhoon halfway around the world. Well, when enough people come together, we too will make waves and watch the world into a new era filled with love and connection, freedom for all without oppression. But it is up to you, yes, you watching this behind this screen, to make the effort, because time is of the essence, and only together can we make it to the 4th second.
Wow, that was something else.
Bill,
Thank you, George. Thank you. And thanks everybody for the opportunity to talk with you today. I work with the Western New York Peace Center. My main focus for the last several years has been on the climate emergency and what we can do about it. I have been the executive director of the statewide geothermal energy organization and work with a coalition called Renewable Heat Now that has been really pushing New York State to move forward on the climate issue. And I think it's really hard to hold the climate emergency in our heads. Our minds naturally want to escape to something more pleasant or promising than the stress of deadly and disruptive extreme weather events, and they're increasing year after year. You know, no one likes looking at the suffering that comes with destabilizing our climate. And this is especially so because the solutions need to be powerful enough to counteract worldwide trends, and we often feel powerless. So I live in Buffalo. Buffalo is supposed to be an oasis from the climate crisis. We have a cold climate, and you know, people say, oh, if it gets warmer here, that'd be great. We are on the Great Lakes. We're right on Lake Erie. We have a great supply of fresh water. So some of the impacts of climate change are projected not to hit us. But in the last 16 months, we have had two horrendous events. One was a bomb cyclone in December of 2022 that killed 47 people in our city. It was a brutal event. I went out and walked 5 doors down from the house and couldn't keep going. It just, the wind and the storm was just too much. If I had to go 5 blocks to get to a drugstore for medication for a family member, I don't know if I would have made it. And 47 of my neighbors did not make it through that. And then last summer, we had wildfires from Canada, poisoning the air, turning the sky orange. You know, I'm about to become a grandfather, and I picture if my grandson was alive and playing outside last summer, I don't know if when he turns 30, he's not going to have lung cancer or emphysema from having experienced all those pollutants getting into his lungs. And by burning fossil fuels, we've created a blanket made of greenhouse gases in the Earth's atmosphere that keeps heat from escaping into space at a normal rate. And it's a blanket that won't break down for centuries. And we're adding a new layer to that blanket every year we keep burning fossil fuels.
Okay.
I want to do a quick quote. George, how much time do I have at this point?
Thank you.
You've got-
Thank you. Can I have our receipt off, please?
you've got 4 minutes and
Okay.
3 minutes and 90 seconds.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So a quote from Bill McKibben, who wrote the first major book on global warming back in the 1980s. He says, we know from a recent study that every 1/10 of a degree in temperature rise that we prevent keeps 140 million of our brothers and sisters in habitable zones on this planet. And nothing has changed my basic conviction about the key. We need to keep building huge movements to finally break the political power of the fossil fuel industry and force the emergency conversion to clean energy. So in New York State, a grassroots movement in the late teens got a bill passed called the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act. And it's not something that came out of government think tanks or corporate think tanks. This came from the grassroots. And it passed, and it mandates a 40% reduction in greenhouse gases by 2030 and an 85% reduction by 2050. In addition, 100% of the electricity generated has to be emission-free by 2040, and 35% of the investments need to go to disadvantaged communities in New York State. And there's a Climate Action Council that was set up. I was on the Housing and Energy Efficiency Advisory Board to that panel, and the Climate Action Council came up with a plan to meet those goals in New York State. It was released in January of 2023, and it includes, January of 23. The basic elements of it are that we need energy efficiency measures that achieve climate action energy efficiency goals. We need to transition from fossil fuels to electricity to heat and cool our buildings, so all electric buildings. We need zero emissions electricity, and we need transportation to be electrified as well. And
30 seconds, Bill.
I'm sorry, George.
30 seconds, wrap it up, please.
Okay, great. So last year we had a bill passed that is the All Electric Building Act. So at this point, when new buildings come in New York State, they cannot use fossil fuels. And this year we're working on another bill called New York Heat. And I'd be happy to talk about that in the breakout room. It's basically designed to cap people's utility bills at 6% of their income and to stop the build out of gas infrastructure in New York State. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for your.
Thanks so much. We'll next hear from Cole Harrison.
Okay, so I go ahead, George? Thank you.
Please.
Yeah, so I'm speaking for Mass Peace Action. So I've been working with the group for 14 years. We are one of the state affiliates of Peace Action, which is a network of peace organizations that date back to the 50s. Its founding issue was nuclear disarmament. And then in the 80s, the Nuclear Freeze campaign came along with a decentralized culture of nuclear disarmament activism, and MAPA was the descendant of Massachusetts Freeze. Over the years, we took on interventionist wars and US wars and occupations, and then the cost of militarism, the economic cost, the impact at home of the huge military spending. When I got to MAPA in 2010, there was a board of about 9 people that had a monthly meeting, and that was the only thing we had. The agenda of the board meeting was like, who's going to bring the cookies and who's going to make the flyer for the next event. And then after that event was done, they would start on the next event. After a couple of years, we started working groups that were groups of volunteers working on different issue areas. The idea there is to create a space where small groups of people, anywhere from 3 to a dozen or 15 people kind of work together, enjoy the companionship and participation, and try to get something done. And we grew till we had about 12 working groups, each with a different issue. Just to briefly rattle them off, we had a Middle East working group, or most of these still exist. Palestine-Israel working group, peace and climate, racial justice and indigenous solidarity, peace economy, Latin America and Caribbean, nuclear disarmament, Boston Downwinders. That was one of our groups that actually terminated because it achieved its goal, or a significant part of it, by closing the Pilgrim nuclear power plant in Plymouth. Actually, Susan, who's here today, was one of the leaders of that group. So that group no longer exists. No Cold War, and then Fund Healthcare, Not Warfare. So by doing this, we were able to bring circles of activists in who were passionate about an issue. There's a lot of people in the pro-peace community that have, for one reason or another, developed a focus on a particular problem, particular part of the problem. They have expertise, they have connections, they have passion. So by getting those people to work together and try to do something, we've been able to multiply our number of activists and members. But the downside is that it becomes decentralized, it becomes almost unwieldy. There's no central thing, and they kind of wander around. So a couple of years ago, we started on a new thought process to get more prioritized, set some priorities. So we decided we would lift a few priority campaigns out from the pack. And we've been on that ever since. We currently have 4 of these priority campaigns. These are kind of blessed by the organization as a whole now to try to get a little more resource. I mean, our biggest resources are volunteers, and the volunteers work on whatever they want to work on, right? You can't make them. You can't make somebody change from Palestine to nuclear disarmament just because you think it's a good idea. That's up to them. But to the extent that we have a little bit of staff energy and interns and space in our communications channels, we give it to our priorities. So currently, we started with 3 priority campaigns about a year ago. Ukraine, A Time for Peace, that of course that war started 2 years ago. Fund the People, Not the Pentagon, to try to lift up our peace economy thought process, and Twin Threats of Nuclear Weapons and Climate Change. So by looking at 2 existential threats and their common roots, we thought we could essentially get more traction on the alliance between the peace movement and the climate movement. And then in October, we added a 4th priority campaign, which is the Gaza-Israel Peace Campaign. So we're now functioning with 4 of them. Yeah, it's been a little rocky. Sometimes these campaigns don't really feel that much more energetic than the working groups from which they came, which still continue to function. So in some ways, we've sort of added even more areas instead of consolidating. But there's pros and cons, and we're still working to kind of lift up these priorities. Obviously, Gaza has dwarfed everything else since that started. It's an all-consuming issue. All of our work areas are responding to Gaza in one way or another. And so that Gaza campaign, currently it meets every week. We get like 30 activists on Zoom every week. We have coordinators in each. We have 9 congressional districts in our state. We have, committees or coordinators in each district that typically partner with other Palestine solidarity groups rather than going it alone, to organize protests and figure out one way or another to pressure their representatives. Letting every volunteer group do what it wants is not the most efficient way to get work done, but it does bring a lot of people involved and make them feel like they participate and they kind of buy into the whole organization's work, and that also allows them to do something and feel that agency, feel that participation, which is so key to keeping people involved. We currently have 4 staff, 2 full-time and 2 part-time staff, and it's all funded. This funding has gradually grown. We don't have any grants. It's all donated by people who are either in or around the organization and some people have more fortunate than others. And then we have a pretty active internship program. We currently have 6 interns working, and like the whole peace movement, our members skew much older. We probably have more members over 80 than we do in their 20s. And the interns help to offset that and help to build some youth energy. And we've tried a couple different ways to try to start youth committees to focus, because I tell you, today's social justice generation supports peace, supports our movement's perspective, but it tells the story a different way. And there are some nuances that are important that
30
they see
seconds,
that.
Cole.
And so you know, so in a sense, my biggest job in the last 14 years has been to get young people to come in and take over this organization, this movement, and I have failed, but I've made a bit of progress. We. Uh, okay, I'll stop there. Thank you.
Great. Thanks so much. Sally, is there something you need to say now? You were just waving at Cole. All right then. So, Deirdre,
Peace and love, everyone. Thank you for having me, George. And um, I am excited to be here. So I am the director of the Western New York Peace Center. I've been director since 2021. And part of our focus, as you all know, we are part of Peace Action, and our history and our fundamental mission is to promote peace locally and abroad. And we do and not only peace abroad.
I believe we have lost Deirdre. I don't see her, and that was an abrupt stop. Is she back?
Yeah. All right, back. Sorry, I don't know what's happening.
Okay.
I'm trying not
Glad
to
you're back.
move.
When we lost you, the
No,
last thing I heard you say was peace abroad.
Okay. So we are looking at peace on all fronts, from within to without. And that means that we are also focused on assisting people to heal from the trauma of war and the trauma of conflict in their respective communities. We have task forces, committees, and campaigns and educational programming that helps us accomplish our mission. And our current active task forces are the Latin American Solidarity Committee, Resist Militarism, Prisoners' Rights / Confinement Justice, and we are working on our Environmental Justice Task Force to rebuild. That's why I asked Bill to be here, because I love what he's doing. He's been a member of the Peace Center for a very long time. And we want to focus on New York Heat as one of our campaigns. Other campaigns that we are focused on right now is voter registration, and not just in the general population, but also focused on parolees and people that are confined but not have not been what's the word? Have not committed a crime or have been convicted of a crime, I'm sorry. So those that are in the holding center. And so the laws passed or changed in regards to even those that may receive their right back to vote once they're out. They are not informed of this new law that was passed. And so there's a whole population of people that are being affected by the choices of the those in power and those in whether it's legislator, representatives or Senate or what have you. And they don't know they still have a right, they still have a voice. So we want to focus on that population in particular this year, and make sure that they get registered and that they believe again that their voice can be heard and that they can change the politics of their living condition. One of our other programs is Camp Peace Prince, and our after school program, Peace Jam. We are combining these programs and adding to them to create our Peace Ambassadors Leadership Program, which Mr. Cole, just stated that, we have an aging population that has been working tirelessly in the movement. And we need to get these young people in from 5 to 25 years old. We need to focus on them and get them prepared to be leaders and to continue our efforts. So we'll do an encompassing program that they will be trained. Those trained students will become team leaders themselves, and eventually we'll have college students leading the programs as well. So that's us in a nutshell. I want to try to keep it short. We also have Talking Peace radio show that we do 2 hours every week, in which we have young ladies, 2 young ladies that assist with that have went through some form of our emerging leaders program, and or have been a part of Peace Action's student body. So I'm really proud of that, and I want to continue to see that happen and add more students to our success.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Wow. That was good to hear from everyone. And it was very enlightening and good recommendations for people, Paul, on how to balance your campaigns and work groups and all the good stuff. So now we're going to be going into breakout rooms. Let me tell you a little bit about what to expect in case you haven't done breakouts on Zoom before. I will open up the rooms and you will choose whether to go have conversations with Deirdre and Bill or Cole, and there will be 2 rooms designated to Gaza, although I got a note from Bill saying we may not need that many because we have 19 people. So we'll only have 1 room for Gaza. So 1 with Western New York folks, and it will say Western New York and I think Deirdre. And the other one will say Massachusetts, Mappa and Cole. And then there will be a Gaza room that Sally Weiss and Pocky Whelan, thank you, Pocky, for being here, will be facilitating. So I'm going to open them up now, and then you all can choose and hop there. And I will give you a time. You'll have about 15 minutes before I send you a note and say you've got 5 more minutes. So then the total time you'll have in the rooms is about 20 minutes, but I'll tell you when you're going to be coming back. Enjoy, choose your spaces. Go ahead.
Okay, you got to help me out here. I forgot how to go in there.
There should be something coming up saying
Your
choose a
link?
room.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You
Thank
don't see that?
Not
Not
yet,
I
yet.
can
no.
assign people if I need to, but right now,
Can you sign me to the room with Gaza?
Yeah, just assign me to.
hold on. I gotta be able to find who that was. Okay, I'm working on it. Okay. Yes, I can assign you. Hold on. Yes. Okay. Okay. Dang.
This is Susan. I don't see anything about joining a room, but
Where would you
please-
like to be, Susan?
with Deidre?
Okay.
I don't think you've opened the rooms yet, George.
I have opened them, but they're not acting right.
Uh,
And so instead of trying to redo it and possibly deleting the work that has been done, I'm going to send you to your room, Cole Harrison.
Gaza.
No? Cole? Oh, dang. Too late. I think. Don't know. Yes, he's gone.
Gaza, please.
And that is
Gary.
Gary.
Gary. Yes, and Sally, I'll make sure you're there soon too. Although, there we go. All right. Does anyone else need me to assign you to a room? Paul Shannon, where you want to be?
Gaza.
Very good. All right.
What are the rooms?
Pardon
Western New
me?
York?
Hey, Tara.
Hi, George. Assign me to Western New York?
Yes, ma'am. All
Thank
right,
you.
good. Okay, I'm going to go down your names that I can see, and you tell me because we'll do it quickly. Charles Sheener.
Shiner, yeah, Gaza.
Sorry, Shiner. Joseph Cabartis. Tell me something, Joseph.
He's muted.
You're muted. Okay, I'm gonna leave it alone and skip
All
that.
right,
and go to-
Gaza. Gaza would be all right.
Okay, hold on. I need to see how many people are there. Okay, Gaza's getting kind of full. Mehreen.
Gaza.
Hmm. Okay. Sally, are you still here?
I certainly am.
Well, that is weird. It shows that it says you're not joined. I think you may have gotten something asking you to go there because you were assigned to that room. You may have gotten an invite from it. I can't do anything other than put you there. You're already there on my computer, and I don't know. It just says you haven't joined. So good luck. We'll try to get everybody else where they want to be.
George.
Michelle.
Yeah,
What were the different breakouts? I didn't hear.
Western New York's MAPPA. So Western New York, Massachusetts Peace Action, or Gaza.
Western New York.
Okay. Robin Lloyd.
Massachusetts Peace Action.
Okay. Tara. Tara already said.
Western New York.
Uh-oh, I put you in the wrong place. I'll go find you and bring you back.
Okay.
Well, you hadn't joined it either. I'll try to, yeah.
Well, I only just got the join invitation. Now I got the join invitation, so I'll join now.
You got a join invitation, Sally. You just didn't accept it, and I don't know what to do. Soon I'll be able to redo it because everybody else is almost assigned. Tom Nelson.
Well, I'd like to get to know Western New York more. I mean, I'm from Massachusetts, but I'd like
Okay.
to hear what they're doing.
All right, then you'll get a thing to join. And Tony.
Gaza.
All right, Tony. And now I see, Bill, that you have been assigned to Western New York, but you're not there.
George, I kept getting a message to go to Cole's meeting.
Did you? Okay. I don't know how to get you another invite. So I'm gonna put you, I can put you in Western New York though, Bill. You should be able to get
Great. Yep.
Get an invite for that. All right, now I just have to solve for Sally. Sally? Oh, Sally's where she needs to be. So Gaza has a shit ton of people. And Cole, is it just Cole and Robin? On your own. It's just y'all.
Okay,
So
George.
are you good with this?
We will have a tete-a-tete.
You'll have a tete-a-tete. You don't mind if you're cool there. I don't need to put you somewhere else.
No.
All right, you got about 10 more minutes. Bye.
All right.
Wow, okay, I get 10.
Excuse me. Okay. Here we go. What happened? There's another person there. Okay. Is that you, Deirdre?
Yeah, Zoom kicked me out.
I'm so sorry. I will put you back into the breakout room.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, then. See ya. All righty, let's do time check. 3 o'clock. We have an hour. We should be fine. Okay, here we are. Gotta eat. Dang. It's hard. Okay.
Well, that was.
I'm just talking, and I'm muted. My apologies. Welcome back. I hope you had a productive chat in your breakout rooms. Very soon we'll be joined by Kevin Martin, and he will have an update for us. And then we're gonna, with the help of the Jamboard, find out your thinking from the breakout room. So if you're anyone who's inclined to forget your brilliant ideas and thoughts, you might want to write down a few key words right now so that you don't wind up forgetting. So now we're going to hear from Kevin Martin, who is the president of Peace Action, you know, the group that we are, many of us, affiliated with. Thank you, Kevin, for being here. You have 8 minutes. I will give you 4 minutes. I'll let you know you've gone 4. And at 6, I'll let you know you've got 2 minutes left to, you know, wrap it up.
Okay, thank you very much, George. I will be as brief as I possibly can. The main thing that I wanted to highlight today is the upcoming April 9th to 19th Ceasefire Now grassroots lobby days, advocacy days, April 9th to 19th, which will be both virtual and in person in Washington, D.C. And as soon as I can get my computer to cooperate, I will paste the chat, paste the link for that in the chat. So just very briefly, a lot of you probably have been keeping up with the news in terms of the UN Security Council failing to pass the ceasefire resolution the other day on Friday. Then there was, of course, the government funding bill to keep the government open. Of that $1.2 trillion, $825 billion was for the Pentagon. So it was a huge windfall for the Pentagon. But the thing that we were very upset about, in addition to that much money going to the Pentagon, was the prohibition on funding for UNRWA, the United Nations Relief and Works Agency. That is going to be catastrophic in terms of trying to address the calamity that is going on, the genocide, the famine that is going on in Gaza. Some of you may also have been following the discharge petition in the House, which is the effort to get around the House Speaker and the House leadership's opposition to the overall jumbo supplemental bill, which is different than the bill that was just passed to keep the government open. That's the $95 billion with money for mostly Ukraine, but also for Israel and some humanitarian aid as well. Peace Action opposes that as well as we did oppose the government funding bill because of the prohibition on UNRWA. They've got 191 signatures in the House out of the 218 they need, so they may get there soon. We will see. But again, Peace Action and probably a lot of you will be opposing that bill for many reasons, but certainly because of the military aid to Israel. And there is in the Senate 8 senators, Sanders, Van Hollen, Merkley, Hirono, Welch, Smith, Warren, and Lujan have sent a letter to the president saying that Israel is ineligible for U.S. military assistance right now because it is preventing humanitarian assistance getting into Gaza, and that violates Section 620I of the Foreign Assistance Act. So this is not a new bill. This is asserting current U.S. law, and there's other ones as well that you could get into that should make Israel ineligible for weapons transfers or military aid. Some of you, and you may have already talked about this, the uncommitted or no preference votes in the primaries, which I think have been having an impact on the president and his campaign in particular, if not as quickly as we would like or as quickly as the people of Gaza need. The next one is coming up in New York, in the New York primary, and maybe New York folks have already been talking about that. Just to say, though, and maybe you already know this, that is considered to be like an endorsement. So if you're a 501c3, you should not be participating in that. But I'm no lawyer, and I can't tell you what to do, but I can just tell you that's what the understanding is in terms of the legality. Also, some of you may know the Reject AIPAC coalition, and that's for C4s as well. And that is to raise the toxicity of AIPAC in terms of the elections and the funding and the distortion of our democracy. There's also something called Vote Forward that many organizations will be participating in, and they have both a C3 and a C4 endeavor that is part of Get Out the Vote and voter mobilization, et cetera. But again, the main thing that I want to encourage those of you that, if you haven't, to sign up to participate in the advocacy days, April 9th to 19th, either online or if you're able to come to Washington. And we'll have a lot more in terms of information about training and the schedule, how to set up visits. If you already know that there are people from your state that are setting up visits, that's fine. The main legislative asks will be worked out, but it's general that we want a ceasefire, no military aid to Israel. We need humanitarian aid to Gaza. We need to get funding back for UNRWA, which will be very difficult now with that bill that just passed on Friday. And that we also just want to raise the alarm about the wider regional war that the United States is engaged in, particularly in Yemen, but other places as well. So those are sort of the 4 main parts of the call for the advocacy days. We have about 40 organizations participating, including United for Peace and Justice. And this is sort of an ad hoc network that we put together because it didn't seem like there was any organization or coalition that was coordinating grassroots advocacy efforts on Gaza. So that was my very quick spiel. And again, really hoping that people who didn't or haven't signed up yet could take a look at that link and sign up either your organization or as an individual to participate in those advocacy days coming up.
Even if you're not going to travel to DC, sign up for the virtual part if you want to do that.
Exactly.
Okay. So are there any questions for Kevin? You can raise your hand or put it in the chat. Okay. So I'm going to go and get the link for the Jamboard so that we can find out what y'all talked about in your breakouts.
George, it looks like there were a couple hands.
Okay, let me find them.
Maureen and Paul.
Okay, cool.
Okay, this question is for Kevin because he's a lawyer. Is
I'm
there any
not a
work-
lawyer. No, I'm a
Oh, you're not.
half-assed peace movement paralegal. People ask me legal questions, but I'm not.
Okay, let me just ask my question anyway. is it possible that there's a workaround for the UNRWA thing, the following? Can US citizens get or taxpayers get a tax deduction for giving money to UNRWA USA or whatever it's called? And could they get a 100% tax deduction for doing that, so that basically that money would go to UNRWA?
There is UNRWA USA. I don't know the legalities of that. I assume it is tax deductible, but the problem is that's not going to replace the government funding, unfortunately. And it's not going to replace, and you know, there is humanitarian funding, not all of it for Gaza, some of it's for Ukraine, some for other places, in the supplemental funding bill, if that passes. But there's no way you can replace UNRWA and all of the humanitarian groups with any kind of experience in Gaza and the West Bank say that you cannot replace.
I'm not talking about
private
replacing, I'm talking about making a political statement by getting people to donate to UNRWA and show that there's widespread support for that.
I think that's very worthwhile, yes. I don't think it, unfortunately, would fill the gap.
No, I know.
Okay. We got to go, Paul, and then we'll move on to looking at your report backs. You're muted, Paul.
Kevin, is April 9th to 19th all in person in DC, or is it, you know, can people?
No,
participate
as
in
we
another
said,
one?
no, as we said, it's both virtual online as well as in Washington. It looks like, it looks to me like it'll be about 50-50, about half people doing it online and about half coming to Washington.
Thanks.
Well, thanks a lot, Kevin. You're welcome to hang around and help us to go through some of the reactions people had in the work groups. So look in the chat, everyone, and I will post a link. If you follow that link, it will take you to the Jamboard. Okay. I'm also going to share my screen so that we're all looking at the same Jamboard. All right. So I'm going to make this small, as small as I can. There's nothing in the way. And these little things up here at the top let you know who's here. They will assign something even if you don't have a particular name. So here, I hope you have used the link in the chat. You haven't, or you need me to put it in there again, let me know. Over here, the fourth little icon down is sticky note, and you select sticky note, write on it what you want to, and then after you've typed your little message or notes or recommendations or comments, it's saved, it gets joined, it puts itself on the board. Once it's there, you can move it around, or I may move them around so that everything can fit on one page. Any questions? Robin, your hand's up.
Yeah, I was just wondering how much we give to, how much the US government gives to UNRWA.
Kevin's gone. I don't have a clue. It's not enough.
I know the US is the major donor to it, or was until the bill that passed on Friday.
Right.
Yeah, well, how much was that? No one knows?
I don't know.
I don't know. Sorry. It's likely to be millions. Likely is not billions. And I don't think it's a few hundred thousand. But I'm speculating. None of this is based on information I know. So staying in my role as moderator, I will encourage you to use the link in the chat, which now I'm going to put it back in. And if that link will take you to the Jamboard, and please put whatever you want on that Jamboard. As broad an idea as possible, as specific an idea as you care to share. You can put more than one. And if that gets full, I will add another page.
Where is it?
It's in the chat. It's a link in the chat, and then it will take you to the page to write your sticky note. The fourth thing down on your Well, if you're
So
looking at
George, it says view only. Do you have to give us edit access or what?
everyone with the link should have access.
We have
Um,
access, but it's view only. Is that as it should be?
No, let me make sure I can fix that. Here we go. Yes. Now see if it's changed. Access updated. And we have me and 3 other people. I hope everyone has a chance to add to it. Yay, someone else joined us. Thank you very much. We're going to work on this for another 10 minutes, maybe 8, because we worked on it a little bit already. And at 2:28, so that we can talk about what is on the Jamboard, we'll come back together to talk. So I'm going to leave you alone for another 8.
So what do you want us to put here, George?
Whatever you care to share, Cole, about recommendations, next steps for everyone on this Zoom meeting, whatever you want, hopes and wishes for the world, anything you care to share is appreciated.
George, what do you click on to get it to be able to write a note?
The 4th little square thing down on the side of the Jamboard.
Which side?
Yeah. On the, I
Left.
think it, oh, thank you. Yeah,
Least-
Cole knows.
At least on mine, it was on the left.
1, 2, 3, 4. It's the 4th thing.
I bounced off and can't get back in. Ah,
Oh, Pocky, sorry. Let me give you the link again.
thank you.
Yep. It's great to see you, Pocky.
Great to see you too.
You look great with that Kofi on.
And the new hair too, huh?
Yeah, man. Great color. I was expecting pink. I got to tell the truth, but it looks good.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm lost.
Okay.
I got into post attendee Zoom. So I guess I
Oh.
should click on Zoom again.
It keeps putting all
We
of
can
our
see you.
sticky notes on top of each other, I've noticed.
Yeah, I can move those. I was
I
doing
have
that
no
with
idea.
Marine, but I
have
didn't want to
no-
miss. What do you need, Marine?
I have no idea what I'm supposed to do when I get to that other screen. I
Oh,
can't find anything that allows me to create one of those sticky things, and I don't know how to write in it if I did.
well,
Okay,
are you in the
now I
screen
see the
now?
screen. I see the screen with the sticky notes, but I don't
Okay,
see
over to the side, there's a row with art things on it. You see that?
a vertical row, right?
Yes, it's vertical.
Up and down, yeah.
And the 4th one down, you click on the 4th one down,
Oh,
and then all you have to do is type.
oh, I see. Okay.
I filled it out twice because the first one seemed to disappear. But anyway, Democratic Socialists of America.
Thanks. Okay. So another 4 minutes or so, and then we're going to start discussing what you're looking at. There. Okay. Mhm. I'm moving things around, but you're welcome to add more. When I'm done, we're going to look at them all, see what we can come up with.
I don't see the board. Can someone send me the board?
I can send you the link. I can put the link in the chat. I can't send the board until after our meeting, and then I can. So I'm putting it in the chat to everyone, the link to get to that Jamboard. Oh no, that's not right. There we go. There we go. All right. So let me give you another couple of minutes, since some of you may have been struggling until now, and then we will have a look at it. Not as much fun as watching everybody scramble around the room, sticking up their notes on pieces of newsprint. That used to be one of my favorite times in a meeting. Oh, that was cool, Charles. What you just did, you got it into the chat. That's cool. I do not have that skill. All righty. Wow. Hmm. Okay, y'all, you ready to look at this together?
Mhm.
All right, let me share screen and check it out. I'll make it a little smaller so we can see all at once. And if you want to continue adding past this meeting, as long as you've got that link, and I will send the link out when I send out the recording, the link to this page, you can continue to add to it beyond this meeting. And it will inform UFPJ in terms of what folks in your region are thinking, and it would inform any future gatherings of this body, or possibly even webinars and such that UFPJ is planning. Okay, so let me get them big enough for us to read. Is there somebody who needs me to read them out loud, or can you read these on your own? You'll only see about 3 at a time. Let me know. Is it fine that you're reading them on your own, or if you need it read out loud, say something and I will read it out loud. Otherwise,
I think we can read it.
thanks, Pocky. So you'll see about 3 at a time.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. With these two, reaching young people and inviting and partnering with people, if they're not people from your same cultural background, have somebody with you. If you're an older person, hang out with and recruit younger people in the company of younger people. If you are reaching out to communities of color, have your members or advisors or colleagues who are people of color accompany you. So it's an easier transition in for people, for all involved, actually. Excellent. Musicians Union has grants for educational programs. That's what y'all do. We all do educational programs. That is cool. Well, Kevin gave us a warning about not being able to, out overtly support Congress people. If people do the right thing, you can recognize it, thank them. You can even thank them in your newsletter or whatever, but it's just acknowledging that you did the right thing in the same way that you would bird dog people who are doing the bad thing. Join the Gaza flow. Okay. A lot of those new activists coming forward are indeed younger people. And you have to recognize and respect young people's leadership. Okay. Oh, that's an excellent call. Calling them out on Holy Week. Catholics will get heated during that time. If I were able-bodied, I'm not so much, but would I show up at church? Shoot. Okay, whoever wrote this one, I would love your recommendation. I do have talking points for when people say support for Palestine is anti-Semitic. I have my own talking points, but I'd love to hear yours because it does come up more than you would imagine. Wow.
I wrote it, but I think it's important to be able to listen to people, not just to talk at them.
Yes.
And some of the pro-Palestinian demonstrations I've been at, people seem to be almost intentionally chanting provocative, confrontational slogans that are going to challenge people who are sort of on the fence. And we need to build a movement. We don't need to build walls around a movement.
That's absolutely true. I want you to say some more about that if you could. Okay, these contributions deal, they're always just disgusting and outrageous. Okay, this could be a very good talking point because I don't know all the key misunderstandings of the fact about Gaza that need to be countered. And I haven't yet, and one of you may have, and let us know, I haven't yet been in a conversation with someone where when Gaza comes up and they think I'm coming from a problematic area, where my, saying, well, this has been going on since 1948. You can kick a dog for only so long before they bite your leg. I say things like that. And for people who are, a lot of my colleagues or friends in the Poor People's Campaign, especially people who are not just people of faith, but people who are in line, they've got a line of religious ideologies that they follow, are in early on, not since January, but late last year, some of these folks who I've known for years and been in marches with and done lots of good things with would get very, very loud and stressed and anger in their voice, and a kind of anger I don't recognize. I'm not, it's that when your voice gets high pitched and your neck is really tight, about respecting Christianity, respecting Christian history, and honoring the legacy of Jewish peoples right. They use the word right. Like white people talk about racism, like I've got a right as a white person to be racist. The right of of Israeli people to be in Israel, period. Like full stop. Like if you say any other word, George, I'm not able to speak to you again. And those are the times when I just was like, all right, well, we're in different places. I'll see you at next week's meeting. So I had to let go of those. I stopped trying to use rational conversation or send them articles about historical stuff. There are a few things that Reverend Barber would say that were useful, and certainly Liz Theo Harris said a lot of useful stuff, but I'm at a loss with those. Now it's only about 4 or 5 people, but they're very vocal in their circles, and I cannot counter that stuff. Any recommendations? Cole, you were saying we want to build relationships and connection, not walls. What are your recommendations on how to do that?
Well, I think I do think you have to start by telling truth. So many people that have been pulled by Zionist ideology, you just have to break it down for them. You know, you can't drop the need for Palestinian liberation. It's going to be a slow process. Sometimes your adversaries are not the people you can reach out the easiest. You have to reach out to those that are vacillating and confused and can be educated. I don't know if I answered your question.
That's helpful. So if someone's confused,
if I
what do you
can
say?
add, if I can add a little bit to that.
Thanks, Charles.
Sometimes when people respond very angrily, like you described, it means that they're internally conflicted. And we need to encourage the side of them that agrees with the point of view that we're trying to express.
Okay.
I would
I had a
suggest
woman-
if people haven't seen the film Israelism, it's a new film. I guess it was made about 2 years ago, but it's only recently been released. It might help you understand some of the conditioning that pro-Israel, pro-Zionist people have gone through.
Thank you so much, Charles. And I think conditioning is the right word to use. I see a lot of analogies between the situation and white supremacy and racism in this culture, and how white people often respond to people of color, especially white people who, like y'all, who perceive yourselves as being post-racist. Yes, it's a white supremacist culture, but I'm not part of that culture. I do this kind of work, which means I automatically am not that. And, you know, we've all been conditioned by the same place. Pocky, and I've had someone say, don't you dare call that a genocide. Okay, but look at the definition, the definition, and then get back to me. Pocky?
One of the things that is a great concern of mine is my Jewish friends who are my age, and I, who grew up aware of the Holocaust, who grew up aware of pogroms, who grew up aware of the Holocaust. And then my young Jewish friends, particularly the JVP folks, who have no sense of that history, it seems. And the clashes, the incredible pain of particularly the people my age, you know, those of us who read Elie Wiesel, who learned about the atrocities, and it's been very painful as people try to bridge that gap.
Yeah.
I mean, our culture, basically mainstream US culture, is so damned ahistoric. It is profoundly painful.
Well, there are parts of our culture that I think can be helpful, but this, and you know, and I'm a little younger than you, but I do share that same history of growing up hearing about the Holocaust a lot. But my niece is 20, and I like using film and music and stuff to have a conversation. It's not education exactly, but she'd never seen Schindler's List. She'd never even seen the musical Fiddler on a Roof, which is barely educational, but there are some cultural things you can pull from there, plus the songs. So after Schindler's List and talking about that, we did Fiddler on the Roof. I have to turn my camera off, and we did Sophie's Choice. And then we talked about, from Sophie's Choice, we talked about, so what do you think happens with a kid who's in Gaza and their parent goes out to get them some food and water and they never come back? And we had that conversation because she's someone who has been in kind of scary situation around not being homeless, about their parent being in jail, and what do you do? And, you know, at 20, she got it. But she got it because I'm her aunt and I've done this work for freaking 40 years. I don't know if she was a regular 20-year-old who, you know, came to an event that we had that she would get it. But I do know that music and film can give you a way to talk about a subject. I couldn't have just sat her down and say, let's talk about all the kids who are being orphaned in Gaza. And she would glaze over and not really care. So finding a way to connect with people, build on that relationship. At the end of any of those kind of conversations, trying to explore, so what do you think would be the best thing to do? And what are you willing to do to try to get them to action? Because every conversation around organizing should suggest an action step. Because we want to change things, we want to improve it. You can't do it by simply talking about it. You've got to add an action step. As we're getting to the close of our gathering today, I'm going to put a couple links in the chat from UFPJ. One is connected to our member groups, and you may find yourself wanting to explore, if you're not a member group, becoming one. That would be awesome. We would love to have you around. And then I will put in a chat in case you're moved to make a donation, which would also be awesome. But as I'm doing that, I got what's the word? I didn't twist your arm this morning when we talked, Miss Deirdre ML, but you did agree to close our meeting. So if you will say your closing comments for about 5 minutes, and then I will start our last song. So Deirdre?
Okay, I'm here. I can't reveal for some reason.
That's okay, don't
My
worry about it.
closing comments.
Mhm.
Okay. I think, like I was saying in the chat, it's truly essential for us to bridge the generational gap and create more mentorship opportunities between the foundational and our elders and our youth coming in. The youth have the energy, they see, and they have the drive, but they don't have the background, they don't have the history. They haven't bumped their heads yet. They don't know what works and what does. But those of you that have been in the movement for so long do. And I would like to encourage all of us to create more of those spaces for youth to be heard, and for our elders to be heard as well, and to help us all to find common ground, even though it seemed like such a far space between. The other point I would like to bring out is that I thank you for bringing us together, and for showing us we have so much in common that we're working on, and so many issues that we have in common that we're working on as far as organizationally, and how we could help each other, with some of those day-to-day issues, regular organizational issues. So I just want to say thank you all. And I wasn't, at least I wasn't present if we did say a land acknowledgement, but I
No,
wanted
ma'am.
to, just bring this, so to bring that energy here too, to just ground us, that as far as New York State, Northeast, part of this land is on the Haudenosaunee territory. And we want to just, in our acknowledgement of the indigenous here and of the the backs of the African slaves and immigrants that have worked and toiled here. We want to make sure we just give honor to whom is due. This is what we're working for true freedom from, these capitalistic endeavors that has and imperialistic endeavors from here to across the world. So I just wanted to just put that out there as well. So peace and love, and thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Deirdre ML. You sounded kind of like you were doing a closing prayer there at the end. It felt like that to me. It was lovely. Thank you all for your time today, your energy, your enthusiasm, your inspiration, your commitment and determination to stay on the path of peace and justice. I'm going to play a closing song that can be on our recording because it's no copyright. They're not capitalists, at least the people who wrote this song. It's awesome. It's one of my staples, as was the opening one, to listen to remember why we're here, what are we supposed to be doing, and do it. So I'll include the links to that when you get the recording, probably tomorrow. It's links and groovy things. Enjoy. Hopefully it's all visible. Wait a minute, the sound. My apologies for the sound being a little, but it's a good sing along. Although turn off your mute because we don't sound as good as this.
There's no.
There's no sound.
No sound is
No
coming.
sound, Judge.
Pocky, what were you saying?
No sound. We're not hearing anything.
You're not hearing the sound. Okay, let's
No.
figure this out. We deserve to hear it correctly. Aha. Thank you. The sound thing was off. It happens. But thanks for letting me know. Save the chat before you leave. Feel free to stay for the whole song. It is worthwhile, I think.
Ayana, we were, yeah, she's standing back. She heard it, she's standing back.
Got it, sister, got it.
Isaiah 2:4 says, "And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords in the plowshares, and their spears in the pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore."
Stop the bombing, stop the killing, save the children mankind to really, really live again. Ooh, yeah. Do it for the babies. Oh, do it for the children. 'Cause it ain't forever blind. Forever blind. An eye for eye isn't right, leaves the world forever blind.
Can't stop hate. War is cancer. Only love can be the answer. Hate can't stop hate. War is cancer. Only love can be the answer.
No more silence. Stand for truth now. It's a new day. We can do this now. Tell me, can you feel it? Feel the power. It's time for change now. In this very hour. Everybody say power. Save Gaza. Everybody say power. Save Gaza. Everybody say power.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, George.
All right then. Bye.
Bye, all.
Hi, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yay.